really need to sneeze. Nope, false alarm. Hi everyone, it's Tash and welcome to another recipe video. And fellow hay fever sufferers are going to like today's recipe because we are going to take revenge on our mortal enemy, flowers. Actually, technically, grass and trees give me more of a problem, but since we can't cook grass and trees, flowers will have to do. And the specific flower that we are taking our revenge on today is the Sakura blossom, or the cherry blossom. It is the season of cherry blossoms at the moment, and if you go to Japan at the moment, you'll see lots of cherry blossom flavoured things. So today we're going to use 3 different types of cherry blossom product. And I'm going to put the link down below to where you can buy all these things. They ship internationally as well, which is quite good, and it's not an affiliate link, I just really like them. So the first Sakura product we're going to use are the whole pickled cherry blossom. This is the actual flower from the cherry blossom tree, and it's been very, very thoroughly salted and pickled, so we are going to have to soak this to get rid of the excess salt. Don't eat them just as they are, you're going to get a very salty shock. Now here's the second one. This is soluble sakura powder, which we're actually going to bake within the Madeleine batter itself. This is super good, I love this stuff. I use it in lattes and all sorts of things. And it's soluble, so there isn't any grit left behind either. Finally, to decorate, we're going to use some crunchy Sakura flakes. Can you see? I'm trying not to spill them anywhere. Oh, I love that smell, so floral and fragrant. So now that we've summarised which cherry blossom products we're using, let's go to the kitchen and take our revenge. I mean, bake our cakes. Now the first thing we need to do is clean the cherry blossoms of excess salt. So I've got one bowl to wash off the salt that's all on the outside, and another bowl for soaking. We probably won't use all of them, but sometimes they come out looking a little funky, so this way we get to choose which ones look the best. So drop them in the first bowl first. Now I'm going to give each of these a little bit of a shake. Now that we've got the biggest granules out, we're going to transfer this into the other bowl. Now I'm just going to let that sit for 30 minutes to get rid of all of that salt. Now while the cherry blossoms are soaking, I'm going to melt 120 grams of unsalted butter, and then I'm going to let it cool down a little. You could go a step further and brown your butter as well for extra fragrant madeleines, but I don't quite like that with the Sakura. I think that would be a bit much, but by itself, gorgeous. Okay, that's more or less done. I'll just let the residual heat melt the rest of the butter and take this off the heat to cool down. Alright, now that our cherry blossoms have done soaking, we're now going to dry them. Just going to set them on a little bit of kitchen paper, and I am going to separate them out now. Feature Tash voice over here, you will indeed need 28 to 30 cherry blossoms. At this point I underestimated a little how many I would need, but I do end up making a few more later. There we go, now I'm just going to set these aside. You don't have to dry them completely, just get all that extra water off. Now we're going to start making the Madeleine batter, and we're going to preheat our oven to 180 degrees C. We're going to start by cracking in 3 eggs. Adding 120 grams of caster sugar. And also a heaped tablespoonful of that soluble Sakura leaf powder. This is what it looks like, it doesn't have any colour, because it's made of the leaves and not the actual blossoms. And now we're going to whisk this up until it's foamy. Now that is beautifully thick and foamy, we're going to stop there. And we're going to gently fold in 170 grams of self-raising flour. Taking a spatula and using very gentle folding motions. Now at this point, when it's just about combined, finally we are going to add that melted butter that we just did. So that was 120 grams and it's cooled down nicely now. And we're going to just stir that in as well. Gently fold rather. And that is our batter all done. Now I'm going to fill my moulds. Some people like to refrigerate the batter before doing this to create that hump, but I'm not going to bother at this time. And even though this is a silicone mould, I am going to brush a little bit of oil on it, just in case, because I don't quite trust it. If you're using a metal pan, then definitely do this. Oil it, and if you're using a metal pan, not only oil it, but also dust it with a little bit of flour too, just to make sure that they don't stick, because you really want that definition of the shell shape. All done, and now I'm going to pop spoonfuls of this stuff into the moulds. Now you don't want to overfill them, so be careful of that. And as you can see, we have enough for another batch, so I'm just going to set this aside for now and bake them up in a minute. And not forgetting those Sakura blossoms we prepared earlier, we're going to pop these on top. And don't worry, we are going to decorate the bottom, but we're going to do something slightly different for the bottom. Don't press the blossoms down too much, by the way. And now we're going to bake these for 8 to 10 minutes until they've just risen. Okay, actually that wasn't as much of a disaster as I thought. Those turned out pretty well despite the tray buckling. Very nice. And they smell so fragrant. I'm going to let these cool down, then I'm going to unmold them, and then I'm going to create the rest of the batter. And while I was actually looking at those and waiting for those to bake, I did in fact soak a couple more cherry blossoms. So I've got these ready. These are just about cool, so let's unmold them. Nice and easy. Oh, that is gorgeous. Lovely. Whoops. I'm just going to put them on a tray here to cool down. And you know what? Because one's still warm and soft and I cannot resist, let's actually snack on one now. Oh, so spongy. Amazing. And so fragrant. I'm going to give this a wipe, oil it again, and then do the rest of the batter. So this is the second and last batch done. We're going to let this cool down, unmold these, and then we're going to wash our moulds because we need to use it next for the decoration. Now it's time for my favourite part, the decorating, but we need to temper some chocolate first. So here I have 50 grams of white chocolate which I'm going to melt over a water bath, and in total we're going to end up using about 100 grams, but this is 50, half of it. We're going to half melt this batch first. Okay, so that's about half melted. Let's carefully take it off the heat. While it's still warm, I'm going to add a little bit of pink food colouring. This is gel. Do not use the watery stuff because that will seize your chocolate. Oh, this is a bit of a mess. I'm getting it everywhere. Never mind. Now let's stir it until it's completely melted. Maybe just a smidge more pink. Let's go nuts. Oh, that is a lot. Maybe too much. Or you know what? Let's see what happens. You know what? We're going to add more white chocolate to that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So let's add some white chocolate bit by bit, and we're going to do this until it stops melting. So we're pretty close to temp at this point. I've added in the rest of that 100 grams of chocolate gradually, bit by bit, and this last chunk is not melting easily, which means that it has probably reached a good tempering temperature. So to test that, what you do is you take a cold spoon, dip a little bit in, and pop it in the fridge. And if it literally takes seconds to set, then you have tempered chocolate. And it looks like it's setting already, so let's have a look. While that's in the fridge, I'm going to keep stirring. Actually, I'll take this lump out now. Now let's check on our chocolate spoon. Aha, yes, that is perfect. Completely set. Nice. I'm just going to eat a bit. There's some nice teeth marks. We have tempered chocolate. So now that we have our tempered chocolate, we know that chunk isn't going to melt anymore. So we'll remove it. And I'm just going to eat this. Now this is a little bit thick to work with, and I still have the heat on over here with my pan of water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this back on top, literally just for a few seconds, so this chocolate's a bit easier to work with, but do not put it on too long, because then you'll take it out of temper. We don't want it too hot. So be right back, just takes a few seconds. We're going to chocolatify these madeleines. So you just need a little bit of chocolate for each. You don't have to completely fill the shell because it's going to smush itself out. If you want to do the whole thing, then 200 grams of chocolate. If you want to get that extra one, probably 150. Now we're just going to pop this in the fridge for a few minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to temper just a little bit more chocolate, just to decorate the very tops of them. I'm going to use the same method, but only about 50 grams of chocolate in total. And because I'm lazy, I'm using the same bowl. So now it's time for the moment of truth. Let's unmold one. Woo! So pretty! I would have liked for it to go further to the edge. That was my fault. I should have spread it more. But it's still super pretty this way. Let's do the rest. So pretty! There are a couple of holes in this one, but don't worry, we are going to strategically cover that. Now remember that extra little bit of chocolate we tempered? We're going to use it to do some drizzling. Just open that up now. And just go straight across like this. See what I mean about covering it strategically? Now straight away, you don't want to waste any time, you're going to sprinkle some of those crunchy Sakura flakes over. You can just use ordinary sprinkles if you can't source these. Give it a bit of a shake. Excellent, so we'll just give these another couple of minutes to set and then they're ready to eat. Well, I am very happy with those. So beautiful. Perfect for spring. And look at that, they're double-sided too. I just love that snap of the white chocolate on the outside and the soft fluffy cake on the inside. Such a great combination. How beautiful is this? So cute! And it has blossoms on both sides. It smells amazing as well, buttery and floral. Well, I'm not going to pretend that I haven't eaten these yet. Obviously I had that test one before I put the chocolate on, and when I was doing the slow-mo video just now, I just couldn't resist taking a bite out of that one I broke in half. So please excuse me for starting first. Here I have yet another one. Cheers! Crumbs all over me. The fluffiness inside this little cake is incredible. Madeleines are one of my favourite types of cake, mostly because they're bite-sized, but also because they're so delicate and fragrant. And usually the traditional ones are lemon flavoured, but instead we have the lovely floral, almost fruitiness of the Sakura blossom in there. Perfect for the season. Great with a cup of tea as well. In fact, I might just make one of my Sakura matcha lattes to go with one of these, which would bring me to a total of 4 madeleines already eaten. They're way too easy to scoff. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video and I hope you will join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full recipe on my blog tashcakes.com and find me on Instagram. I am tashcakes.tastes. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more. Give this video a like if you liked it to help other people find it. Comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you guys next time. Be good, be nice, and ooh, there goes the sun. And have a good week.